Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. It's been 24 hours. T. Raja Singh of the BJP has been arrested and granted bail. But the slogans of Sar Tan Se Juda still continue in large parts of Hyderabad. And in some cases, there are people raising these slogans right outside a police station. What exactly is the Hyderabad police doing? Why are they not acting against this open call for violence and incitement? And by the way, it's not just in Hyderabad. Through the course of this program, we'll get you more videos of how these slogans are now fast spreading through other districts in Telangana as well. Raja Singh was acted upon, and perhaps even rightfully so. But will there be no action against the likes of a Zafar Khan of the MIM or a Feroz Khan of the Congress? Why this double standard when it comes to incitement and an active call to violence?
Hyderabad on the boil. Street protests across the city of Nizams on Tuesday and into today. At Shalibanda, at Charminar and the Old City, at Barkas Road and other pockets. First since Monday evening over a BJP MLA's video insulting the Prophet, then over this MLA being granted bail shortly after arrest on Tuesday. The anger comes out in his effigies set ablaze. The Rapid Action Force had to be called in. RAF, State Police and Armed Reserve Forces conducted flag marches. Sections were posted at Hindu-majority areas in the Old City. Standing out amid the mayhem, this. The slogan of hate that began to resound after Nupur Sharma insulted the Prophet and becomes the phrase of radical Islamist rage again. The AIMIM that comes out guns blazing against the BJP distances itself from the slogan itself, though it was allegedly raised by an MIM leader, even as the party vents out at T. Raja Singh insulting the Prophet.
उन पर एक्शन लेना चाहिए, उनको जेल भिजाना चाहिए. जेल में ही वो सही जगह है, बल्कि जेल नहीं बल्कि उनकी पुलिस कस्टडी लेकर उनका वॉइस सैंपल लेकर FSL को भिजाना चाहिए ताकि एक लीगली स्ट्रांग केस उनके खिलाफ बने.
A Congress Neta also jumps in with hate rhetoric, though again his party claims to distance itself.
और राजा सिंह, जो भी तू स्टेटमेंट दिया, वो स्टेटमेंट को तू माफी चाह. और अगर से तू नहीं चाहेगा माफी, हर एक मुसलमान को बोल रहा हूं मैं, राजा सिंह जिधर भी देखा गाड़ी रोक के मारो उसको.
The man at the center of the storm. BJP MLA from Goshamal in Hyderabad, T. Raja Singh got a hero's welcome on returning home. Bail within hours of arrest was seen as a victory by some, though it fueled anger elsewhere. The BJP has issued him notice on why he shouldn't be expelled from the party. And it steps up demands for action against alleged hate raisers like AIMIM corporator Zafar Khan. A BJP MLA, an insult to the Prophet, and communal tensions fueled for politics, with elections in Telangana due next year as the backdrop. It boils down to that. Who's fueling this vitriol? Who's looking to keep the fire burning for political ends?
We have a full panel joining us here on Talking Point. We'll be joined in a moment by Mohammad Feroz Khan of the Congress, the same Congress leader who made those derogatory comments against Raja Singh. Dr. Abdul Manan is spokesperson of the AIMIM. Bachu Srinivas, TRS leader, is on the broadcast. Rashmi Sawant is the former president of the Oxford Students' Union. Shahid Ali is advocate and leader of the Muslims United Front. Vimulapati Patabi is a senior advocate and will also be joined by Arun Anand, the first post. But first, let me go across to Mr. Manan of the AIMIM. There were protests today, sir, at Charminar, at Shalibanda, at Mughulpura, at Khilwat. There were open sloganeering of Sar Tan Se Juda, Sar Tan Se Juda, including by one of your corporators, Zafar Khan, who's been leading these protests for the last 2 days. Why is the MIM not taking any action against him? Shouldn't the people who raise these provocative slogans, these unconstitutional slogans, should they also not be acted upon, just like T. Raja Singh was acted upon by the Hyderabad police?
देखिए, इस मसले में हमारे लीडर असदुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब ने बयान दे दिया है कि हम किसी को प्रोटेक्ट नहीं करेंगे और हम इस नारे के खिलाफ है कि सर तन से जुदा. लेकिन सवाल इस बात का पैदा होता है कि अगर इसी तरह से प्रयोग करते रहेंगे लोग, चाहे टी राजा हो, चाहे नुपुर शर्मा हो, चाहे नवीन जिंदल हो, तो बीजेपी ने एक रस्म चला रखा है, ट्रेडिशन चला रखा है कि इंसल्ट, मान लिया कि मनोवर फारूकी ने कोई ड्रामा किया या कोई प्रेजेंटेशन किया जिसमें किसी की भावना को ठेस पहुंचा, तो इसका जवाब क्या आरएसएस और बीजेपी के लोग रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से गुस्ताखी से लेंगे? और क्या जो है इनका स्पोक पर्सन नुपुर शर्मा जो आरएसएस
लेकिन
और
मनन
बीजेपी
साहब,
की है,
मैं साफ साफ आपसे
ऑफिशियल,
पूछ रहा हूं, राजा सिंह ने जो बोला वो गलत बोला, उसके खिलाफ एक्शन ले लिया उसके पार्टी ने। आपकी पार्टी के एक
जी
कॉरपोरेटर है जफर खान, जो लोगों को भड़का रहा है, लोगों को लीड कर रहा है ये ऐसे नारे लगाने के लिए कि सर तन से जुदा, सर तन से जुदा। 24 घंटे हो गए, आपने क्या कुछ शो कॉज नोटिस भेजा उसको? आपने उसको सस्पेंड किया? आपने उससे जवाब मांगी कि क्या कर रहे हो तुम? आप भी आते हो टीवी
देखिए,
पे, आपके लीडर ओवैसी साहब भी आते हैं टीवी पे और बोल देते हैं कि हम कंडेम करते हैं। कंडेमनेशन से क्या होगा? कुछ नहीं होगा।
नहीं कर, अरे भाई तो ये बात तो आप करो ना, ये मोदी सरकार से पूछो कि टी राजा को जो है लाइफ पूरी जिंदगी के लिए क्यों ना बीजेपी से निकाल
जफर
दिया,
खान
नुपुर
आपके
शर्मा को
पार्टी
पूरी
की,
जिंदगी
आपकी
के
पार्टी
लिए।
की है कि मेरे चैनल के है? तो आपकी पार्टी के सदस्य
सब-
है, आपके पार्टी के कॉरपोरेटर है, तो दायित्व किसकी बनती है कि उससे सवाल पूछना कि
नहीं सर,
ऐसे क्यों भड़का रहे हो लोगों को, ऐसे नारे क्यों
नहीं जफर खान,
लगा रहे हो लोगों से? क्या आप पूछेंगे
हमारे
कि मैं पूछूं?
कॉर्पोरेटर के लिए असुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब हमारे अध्यक्ष ने टीवी चैनल पे ही आके कहा है कि हम एक्शन लेंगे, वो एक्शन दिखेगा।
तो है
तो
कहा
बात खत्म
एक्शन?
हो
24
गई।
घंटे हो गए, बीजेपी ने तो कम से कम एक्शन
अरे
लिया
भाई
है
तो
टी राजा सिंह के खिलाफ।
अरे बीजेपी क्या एक्शन लेगी? बीजेपी ने तो 14 आरोपियों को जिन्होंने रेप किया और जिन्होंने मर्डर किया उनको छोड़ दिया।
अरे
बीजेपी
टी
क्या
राजा
क्या
सिंह के
बात
खिलाफ
कर
तो
रहे हो?
एक्शन तो लिया है, सस्पेंड
तो
कर दिया टी राजा सिंह को, शो कॉज
आप
भेजा है
एक्शन क्या
उन्होंने
लोगे?
टी राजा सिंह के खिलाफ।
आपका फ्लो, आपकी जब बीजेपी की पॉलिसी है कि वो रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को इंसल्ट करे, क्योंकि ये कोई आम
मनान
आदमी
साहब,
तो था
सीधा
नहीं,
सा
ये
सवाल
बीजेपी का
है,
फ्लोर
दो
लीडर था,
लोग हैं जो
ये फ्लोर
गिल्टी है,
लीडर था
एक
बीजेपी
के
का।
खिलाफ उसके पार्टी ने एक्शन किया है। आप ये कह सकते कि ये एक्शन कम है या ये एक्शन काफी नहीं है, वो दूसरी बात है, लेकिन एक्शन तो लिया है ना बीजेपी ने। आपकी पार्टी ने क्या
अरे
किया है
भाई
अभी तक? कुछ नहीं किया जफर खान के
बीजेपी
खिलाफ।
बीजेपी बीजेपी तो जो 57 कंट्रीज हैं वो उसके लिए जो जिन्होंने जैसे
सर मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं,
इराक है,
पिछले
ईरान
24
है,
घंटे में
अरब
जो
है,
घटना घटी है
उसके
उसके बारे
उसके
में पूछ रहा
दबाव
हूं।
में
आप कहां
बीजेपी
पड़े हैं
बीजेपी
57
मुंह
देशों
क्या
के पीछे?
दिखाएगी? ये
24
बताओ
घंटे
कि
में
बीजेपी
टी
मुंह क्या
राजा सिंह ने
दिखाए?
कुछ बोला और आपके प्रवक्ता
अरे उसके लिए
आपके कॉरपोरेटर जो
उसके
है
लिए
आके
ओवैसी
लोगों को
साहब ने,
भड़काया है,
ओवैसी साहब
उसके खिलाफ एक्शन
आप
हुआ
जो
है, इसके खिलाफ कुछ नहीं हुआ अभी तक। तो इसका मतलब क्या है? एआईएमआईएम सिर्फ टीवी
ऐसा
पे
है।
आते हैं, ओवैसी साहब सिर्फ टीवी पे आते हैं और बोलते हैं कि हम कंडेम करते हैं, हम निंदा करते हैं, बस और कुछ नहीं
तो
करेंगे।
कंडेम निंदा करते ही हैं। कभी एमआईएम इस फेवर में रही ही नहीं कि
तो
सरकार
एक्शन
से
कौन
जुदा
लेगा
या
साहब?
गैर कानूनी काम करे।
साहब एक्शन
तो
कौन लेगा आपके
इस-
पार्टी के सदस्य के खिलाफ?
ओवैसी साहब ने कहा है,
एक्शन
उस
कौन
मामले
लेगा?
में कहा
आप
है
लेंगे कि कोई और आके
हम-
लेगा?
वो इंक्वायरी कर रहे हैं ओवैसी साहब, उस पर करेंगे इंक्वायरी। शोकाज नोटिस दिया है, इंक्वायरी
So
करेंगे। तो
we have
उसमें
this
आप
amazing
काहे को इतना
scenario, and I
जल्दी
want to
में
ask
पड़े हो?
Bachu Srinivas.
ये
Bachu
बताओ,
Srinivas,
ये बताओ।
nobody is condoning what T Raja Singh said. T Raja Singh said something absolutely uncalled for, and he has been dealt with. You know, the police have arrested him. He's gotten bail. But why is the Hyderabad police, Bachu Srinivas, not acting against these people? Tomorrow they've given an entire Bandh call in Old City in Hyderabad. Who are these people? Why is the Hyderabad police condoning them? Why is the Hyderabad police not taking action against these people?
First of all, very good evening, and it is very happy to join the debate. I think you are very mistaken, sir. It is under the control of the Hyderabad is fully control of under the Telangana police, and even our chief minister and DCP all are observing the situation and they are looking into the matter, and whatever the things has to take the precautions which are in the whole city, wherever it is something wrong take place, our police people are taking care. Some march fasts also going there. Even I am able to see from CNN also. And we, the people whoever do the violence in Hyderabad, either any religion or any community or any party, we never excuse anybody.
Sir, I am giving you what has happened in the last 24 hours in Hyderabad. Yes, you took action against Raja Singh and rightfully so. You went and arrested him for the comments that he made. But what are you doing against Zafar Khan? He's an MIM corporator who is egging people on to say Sar Tan Se Juda. Do you believe in this sloganeering, Sar Tan Se Juda? In a constitutional republic like India, is there any place for beheading? And these slogans have been going on since Tuesday morning.
And let me tell you one thing. The complaints against Mr. Raja Singh were there. So we have arrested him. And as per the constitution, as per the law, whatever the things has to be taken, things have done. And he went for the, he has sent to the jail and he has taken the bail as per the rule. The things have completed. As
so you will now wait for somebody to come and make an official complaint against Zafar Khan. Without that, you will not, suo moto, Telangana police, Hyderabad police will not take any action.
Definitely we take the action, but in the right time, our government will take the action. We never excuse. I say, whoever they may be, either it is out of the religion or out of the caste or community.
Okay.
We take action.
Rashmi Samant, today we had the MIM chief, Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, write to the Telangana Assembly Speaker P. Srinivas Reddy and asked him to initiate expulsion proceedings against the BJP MLA T. Raja Singh for his comments on Prophet Muhammad. But the same MIM party's leader, Mr. Akbaruddin Owaisi, a few days back, had made extremely derogatory comments about Hindu gods and goddesses. No one is writing to the speaker asking why his MLA status should continue. Secondly, I keep coming back to this. On camera, Zafar Khan has been caught on camera inciting people to sloganeer with these violent slogans. On camera, Mohammad Firoz Khan of the Congress party is seen egging Muslims across Hyderabad to attack Raja Singh wherever they find him. But no action is being initiated either by MIM against their own party member or by Congress against their own party member. It seems like the rules seem to apply for Raja Singh and the BJP, but not for others. Rashmi Samant.
Right. So I feel that, firstly, the lack of action against people taking sloganeering, Sar Tan Se Juda, it clearly points that there is some sort of complicity behind the scenes, behind all of the leaders, that, they're just okay with it. And just for the sake of political correctness and diplomacy, they go out and, put out these condemnatory statements. That's it. Because there is no action, as you can see. It's been more than 24 hours. And, all of these fake promises that it's going to come, it's going to come. I mean, you can already say that it's going to do no good, because we've seen across India how exponentially violence has, has happened. And these calls, they're not silly. They have actually translated to real time violence. So it cannot be taken lightly. And the way it's being dealt with, it seems like an attempt to play vote bank at a time when it's very critical to safeguard life. It's up to the court to prosecute and process whatever Raja Singh said, whatever the MP said. But it is up to the government to take whatever steps necessary to make sure that, there's no violence and that innocent people do not get beheaded just because there's a mob out there baying for blood. And there are other politicians who are inciting the mob to do more of this and celebrating all of that.
Shahid Ali, we saw after the Nupur Sharma episode how there were protests across, major cities. In Delhi there was protests, in Mumbai there was protests, with these open sloganeering of Sar Tan Se Juda. Nobody decided to take any action at that time. And then look what happened. We all know what happened to Kanhaiya Lal in Rajasthan. We all know what happened to Umesh Kole in Maharashtra. Are we waiting for another beheading to happen before we start taking seriously the sloganeering that's happening in Hyderabad?
Sir, action should not only be taken, but it should be felt by everyone that yes, the action has been taken. Action should be seen as the action has been taken. Now the actions just for eyewash, in fact, instigate peoples to come on roads. Now the action should not be just for an eyewash. As far as the Nupur Sharma is concerned, as far as this Raja Singh is concerned, we have seen Raja Singh was bailed out yesterday only. And till now, the TRS government has not taken any action to rectify those mistakes, to wipe out those lacunas which were left therein. The magistrate was bound to release him on bail. Now these kind of things instigate people to come on road. In fact, they,
Sir,
among the people
are
of
you
all
saying
religions,
that the
whether
instigation
Hindu or
is
Muslims,
are you saying
I'm
the
coming to
instigation
that.
instigation is grounds enough for people to come out on the streets and say sar tan se juda? मतलब वो कौन सा instigation है ये?
Sir, let me complete my statement. There are peoples in fringe elements among all. We have seen in Delhi when the peoples were chanting Goli Maro Salon Ko, which led to Delhi riots, wherein more than 100% were killed. Now we have also seen these kind of statements, Sar Tan Se Juda. So both are equals. Now whether any action was taken against those persons, against Anurag Thakur, against Kapil Mishra, when they were making
you may argue that the action against Tira. No, one second, Shahid Ali, listen to me. No, Shahid Ali, listen to me. You may argue, and you're well within your right to argue that the action against T. Raja Singh is not commensurate, according to you. Fair enough. I don't have a problem. But कुछ तो हुआ. Zafar Khan के खिलाफ क्या हुआ? All these mobs who are shouting Sar Tan Se Juda, उनके खिलाफ क्या हुआ? Are we waiting for the next Kanhaiya Lal to happen in Hyderabad?
Absolutely not.
Are we waiting for the next Umesh Kole to happen in Hyderabad? उसके बाद लेंगे आप action.
कुछ तो हुआ is not sufficient. कुछ तो हुआ is not sufficient. There is law embodied in IPC. IPC says that the punishment is 5 years. D. Raja was bailed out on the same day. You are saying that kuch to hua.
The same IPC does not apply to Sar Tan Se Juda. No, Mr. Ali, same IPC does not apply to Sar Tan Se Juda. उसमें भी चार्ज कीजिए ना 153A and 295A कीजिए, कौन रोक रहा है आपको?
That applies to Kapil Mishra, that applies to these persons.
It applies to these fellows also, who are saying Sar Tan Se Juda. Go ahead, apply IPC 153A. Go ahead, apply IPC 295A. क्यों नहीं कर रही है सरकार? क्यों नहीं कर रही?
Please, that should be applied. That should be applied, but that should be applied against all.
You are basically waiting for the next beheading to happen. That is basically what you're saying. You are saying tonight on the show, let the next beheading happen. तब तक के लिए कुछ एक्शन नहीं लेंगे. तब तक के लिए कुछ एक्शन नहीं करेंगे.
I'm saying.
Amazing.
I'm saying that the particular statements led to Delhi riots where more than 100% were killed.
So now, are you waiting for Hyderabad riots before you take action against these fellows who are saying Sar Tan Se Juda?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then
what I'm saying, the action should be taken, stricter action should be taken against all, irrespective of religion. My view is very, very clear.
I am very, very clear in my thought process. You cannot have double standards. I'm saying this again and again. Yes, everyone is well within their right to say, okay, the action against Raja Singh was not commensurate.
Sir,
it was he was given a long rope. He was quickly given bail on the same day itself. All of it valid points. But to say that action will only be taken against Raja Singh and action will not be taken against these fellows who are chanting Sar Tan Se Juda, that is open double standards.
Whosoever tries
Mr.
to
Patabi,
create a
Mr.
rift in the
Patabi,
society,
the law applies whether it is to Zafar Khan or to Feroz Khan or to T. Raja Singh. The law is the same. If they are found inciting, they are found inciting. It has to be 153A and 295A. You cannot have selective application of the law. Mr. Patabi is a senior lawyer. Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, the voice has cut.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead.
See, what's happening in Telangana, especially in Hyderabad, it is a very sad state of affairs. Hyderabad is now, over the period, is filled up with hate. You know, these politicians are building up lots of hate. I won't say one particular party, but each party is contributing a lot to build up that hate and creating a sort of insecurity among citizens. Now, the question here is not whether Raja Singh has committed a wrong or a Muslim corporator has committed a wrong, but why I am asking the Telangana government, why you have not taken action against each and every one of these people who are inciting the public into violence and by making such very damaging statements. So why are you being discriminatory? Why are you being partial? Why can't you take action against those who are making such violent statements? And today, in fact, it is a very unfortunate thing that the old city has been closed because people are expecting violence. The police is expecting violence. And one more thing why I asked the government of Telangana is, you could have called the MIM leaders, the Congress leaders, the TRS leaders, and whoever is concerned, and ask them to control the religious concerned party people, instead of simply every party person saying that we are sure law has to take its course. What is it that the party leaders have done to control their own people? Why is it that they are keeping quiet and fanning the flames of hatred? Now, this is a very sad state of affairs going on. I request, in fact, I insist that, see, police can act only on the instructions of the government. I feel that the government is going or soft pedaling by not taking action against whoever is responsible. Now, why Raja Singh has been released on bail? Maybe there are technical errors or legal errors, but fact is that he has been arrested and he has been released on bail. And if his bail being granted is not right or justified, anyone can move the High Court, aggrieved for cancellation of bail. Nothing has been done. Instead of that, why this situation is being politicized, saying Raja Singh's bail is wrong, and therefore he is the first person, therefore we are going to burn the city or do all these things. Now, I don't think this is justified under law. By any stretch, it is not justified under law.
Bachu Srinivas, I think there's a very valid question being asked by Mr. Patabi and others on the panel today. How is it that a street mob is deciding whether shops will be open or shut, whether there will be a band or not? I mean, a street mob is deciding कि old city को कल हम बंद करेंगे और बंद कर दिया जाएगा.
See, the sensitive areas, sensitive part of the city will be taken care of the police. Whatever the mass can say, let them say, don't worry. It is now, as Mr. Patabi is telling that the government is has to call MIM and Congress and all those people. And definitely it is some extent it is a valid point. Definitely we think on that. We already, our police and all, we requested all the political parties not to do such kind of things. Even we so many times cautioned Mr. Raja Singh. He says on the dais himself, people are going to kill me, people are going to do something, that, this and all. Why you are doing the such controversial things? Even Munawar comedy show is also, before making the comments of Raja Singh, it has not any kind of that particular importance to that show. After his comment that he is going to protest that, these all, he made such kind of heat in Hyderabad, especially Raja Singh.
No, but Mr. Srinivas, can I ask one question? Tomorrow, if parts of Old City are being shut because of a street mob, then what message does that send out about the state of law and order in the state of Telangana? Should a mob decide which shops will be open and which shops will be shut, which localities will be open, which locality will be shut?
Why should we think about today only? Let the tomorrow come, you will see.
No, they've given a call. They've given an open call that tomorrow Old City will be shut.
No, let me tell you, there are so many student organizations, political parties will give a call for the bands. With whom's permission they will give call for Bandh?
No. So that is exactly what I'm asking you. Tomorrow they have given a call for Bandh tomorrow. Tomorrow, if large parts, businesses, shops, etc. are shut in Old City, what sort of message is that going to send? The message that it's going to send is the street mob is deciding कि तेलंगाना Old City में क्या हो सकता है, क्या नहीं हो सकता है.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, it cannot. The street mobs cannot decide the things in Hyderabad. You will see tomorrow.
Are you promising action against Zafar Khan, against Feroz Khan, just like you took action against Raja Singh? And I commend you. I congratulate you.
Telling whoever the Khan, we don't mind. Whoever the Khan, they don't mind. If Khans are trying to violate the Hyderabad, we'll take care of them. We'll take care of them. Whoever they are trying to do the violence in Hyderabad.
Okay.
We don't tolerate anybody else. Just wait and see. The situation is purely under control of Hyderabad police.
Okay.
Don't worry about the Hyderabad.
I'm getting a piece of breaking news. I need to go to that. So, because slowly but surely, this is now spreading from Hyderabad to other interior districts as well. We are getting a video from Nalgonda. I'm not going to play the audio because it's provocative. The slogans that this crowd is raising is very, very provocative. We cannot broadcast it for a national audience. But what I do want to say is that this particular video from Nalgonda, it shows people raising very provocative slogans against the BJP and RSS. The police have identified the slogan raiser as a 25-year-old vegetable vendor. He has now been arrested. But you can see the mob walking through what seems like a crowded and busy market. You can see sloganeering there. Very provocative slogans. And like I said, we have muted the audio deliberately because we do not want to incite the situation any further than it already is. Swastika is joining me on the phone line with more details on this. Swastika, so what was restricted to Hyderabad for the last 24 hours or so, now it seems like it's spreading to other districts as well.
Yes, tension is simmering across Telangana, and this particular video is from Nalgonda. This happened yesterday, where, according to the police, this was a peaceful march that was being conducted by a group of minority community leaders who met with the police and gave their representation. But in the meantime, the police says that there were a group of youngsters who hijacked the rally and raised slogans. One individual prominently seen in the video has been arrested, and he's been identified as a 25-year-old. He works as a vegetable vendor in that area. But the other individuals who can be seen shooting the video are still at large, and CCTV examination process is underway to nab them.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, Swastika Das, for joining us on the phone line. So the main guy who's been seen raising slogans in this video has been arrested. The others are being identified through CCTV footage and other means, and they will also soon be arrested, is what the Nalgonda police have told. But like I said, the reason why we are not playing out that audio and we've muted that audio is because it's an open threat to the RSS and to the BJP. It's provocative in its very nature, and therefore, as a responsible broadcaster, we are not going to be playing that audio. But it does show how this is now spreading from Hyderabad to other interior districts as well. But let me go back to Rashmi Samant. Rashmi Samant, the thing that is being said by TRS, Congress, other opposition parties is that Mr. Raja Singh is a habitual offender. The BJP may have suspended him, but look at the kind of reception he got after he came back on bail, and that too within a day after he got bail from the additional Chief Metropolitan Magistrate. People were taking aarti of this man. There were Jai Shri Ram slogans. It's almost like he was being venerated like a hero. And for what? For making a derogatory comment about Prophet Muhammad?
Well, I definitely feel that you cannot equate call to violence with, offense taken. For offense taken, there is a proper judicial process, and if you think that there is something offensive, then there is a proper way and a proper channel to pursue that. These calls for violence, you cannot equate the two. There is no way that you can do it, and especially since many innocent lives are going because of that. I mean, Kanhaiya Lal was nowhere connected to any of the leaders. Umesh Kole was in no way connected to any of the leaders. So we need to look at how, these two things cannot be compared. It's not an apple and an apple, that you cannot make these comparisons. And you need to also recognize the fact that these slogans, they depict a deeper rot within society. It also points to the kind of radicalization that is, that's adrift in society, and that it needs to be addressed with strong action. Because you see that from one side there are only comments that are coming in. I mean, M.F. Hussain used to make crazy comments about Hindus and Hindu gods, but he was safe. But the same thing is not happening the other way. You can clearly see there's a distinction.
No, M.F. Hussain, at least in the last part of his life, was living in exile away from India because of those very threats, which was caused because of the paintings that he made of nude Hindu gods and goddesses. But be that as it may, that may not be a comparable example. But I want to go back to Mr. Abdul Manan of the MIM. Mr. Manan, jo Rashmi Samant ki point bhi, I mean, at one level it's valid. Ek to is offensive speech, and absolutely sections of the IPC should be applied in the case of offensive speech. अगर आपके भगवान के खिलाफ किसी ने कुछ निंदनीय बोला है, आपत्तिजनक बोला है, तो बिल्कुल आप IPC की जो भी धाराएं हैं वो उनके ऊपर लगाइए. लेकिन an open call to violence, किसी का गर्दन काट देना, किसी का गला काट देना, किसी का सर काट देना, सर तन से जुदा बोलना, ये तो open call to violence है. और हिंदुस्तान तो लोकतंत्र है, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिपब्लिक है. इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिपब्लिक में और आपके पार्टी के नेता तो बैरिस्टर एट लॉ है. ऐसे लीगल फ्रेमवर्क में आप कैसे बोल सकते हैं कि सर तन से जुदा?
देखिए, हमारा नारा नहीं है सर तन से जुदा.
ये आपके कॉर्पोरेटर लगा रहा था.
ये हमारे लीडर असुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब ने सबसे पहले इसको कंडेम किया है कि ये इससे नारा नहीं लगने चाहिए.
साहब, आपके कॉर्पोरेटर जफर खान लगा रहा था ये नारा.
उस मामले में भी असुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब ने कहा कि उसको मैं देख रहा हूं उस मामले को कि उन्होंने कैसे नारा लगाया और कहां से नारा लगाया. और अगर ऐसा कुछ हुआ तो उन्होंने कहा कि उसके लिए हम काम करेंगे जिसको लोग देखेंगे। अब सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि एक रस्म जो चला रखा है, ट्रेडिशन बना रखा है आरएसएस और बीजेपी के लोगों ने, कि जो लोग रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के शान में गुस्ताखी करें, उनको चाहे बंद हो चाहे ना बंद हो, उनको जो है फूलमाला से उनका स्वागत किया जाए। अगर वो पहलू खान के हत्यारे हैं तो वो जेल से लौट के आए तो उनका
मनन
स्वागत
साहब,
किया जाए।
आज जो
अगर
है
असदुद्दीन
नुपुर शर्मा
ओवैसी
अपने
साहब-
घर के बाहर
तो
नहीं आ पा
आप-
रही हैं। मतलब
आप-
राइटली या रॉन्गली,
आप
मैं
जो
उसके ऊपर टिप्पणी नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं उसको जजमेंट पास नहीं कर रहा हूं, लेकिन वास्तविकता ये है कि आज नुपुर शर्मा को अपने घर से बाहर आने में डर है, क्योंकि दुनिया भर में उसके खिलाफ थ्रेट्स आ रही हैं। कल को एक आदमी
नुपुर
पकड़ा
शर्मा
गया,
से
एक नौजवान रशिया में। क्या लेना देना है रशियन आदमी को और नुपुर शर्मा को? उसने तो नुपुर शर्मा का नाम भी सुना नहीं होगा, लेकिन वो रेडी है यहाँ आके सुसाइड बॉम्बर बनने के लिए। ये कैसी आइडियोलॉजी है ये कि रशिया में बैठे हुए आदमी तैयार है यहाँ आके सुसाइड बॉम्बिंग करने के लिए, और आपको लग रहा है ये ठीक है?
कहां से लाते हैं। और हम बहुत ज्यादा बात नहीं करते हैं बाहर की, क्योंकि रशिया तो आपके मोदी जी का दोस्त है, और जितने
नहीं, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, आपने भी देखा होगा न्यूज में 2 दिन पहले एक रशियन आदमी को पकड़ा गया, वो टर्की में ट्रेनिंग कर रहा था, वो हिंदुस्तान आने के लिए तैयार था सुसाइड बॉम्बर बन के।
अरे भाई, आप वो सब चीजें, हम रशिया और पाकिस्तान और जापान की बात नहीं करते, हम इंडिया की बात करते हैं।
हाँ बोलिए, आपके हैदराबाद के ही बारे में बोलिए ना।
14 रेपिस्ट को छोड़ दिया गया और उसका जो है आरती उतारते हो।
नहीं, वो भी गलत है कि इस पैनल में किसने बोला कि वो सही है? वो भी गलत है, और वो मामला कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आएगा। लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, ये जो लोग नारे लगा रहे हैं सरतन से जुदा, उनके खिलाफ हैदराबाद पुलिस एक्शन लेगी या आपकी पार्टी लेगी एक्शन उनके खिलाफ?
आपने उस औरत क्या डिबेट करवाया कि 14 रेपिस्टों को छोड़ा?
सर बिल्कुल किया है, इस चैनल में किया है डिबेट, इस चैनल में हमने किया है डिबेट, और कल को जो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट बोलेगी, वी विल डू अ डिबेट ऑन दैट ऑल्सो। उसका मामला आ रहा है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कल को।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट तो कह देती है कि जाके देख लीजिए भाई।
सर कल सुनवाई है, आपको आपकी जानकारी के लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ, कल सुनवाई है, देखते हैं क्या बोलते हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट। लेकिन ये मत कहिए कि मीडिया चैनल्स ने नहीं किया उस स्टोरी को भी हम उसी जोश से ले रहे हैं जैसे हम इस स्टोरी को ले रहे हैं। लेकिन आप बताइए ना, सरतन से जुदा का मतलब क्या है? एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिपब्लिक में, हिंदुस्तान जैसे लोकतंत्र में कोई कुछ भी आके बोल सकता है और कुछ नहीं होगा।
अरे भाई,
और आपके पार्टी के जो सदस्य हैं उनके खिलाफ तो आप एक्शन भी नहीं लेंगे। मजेदार चीज है ये।
राम राम चिल्लाएंगे तो मुल्ले काटे जाएंगे, इस पे आपने डिबेट कराया?
सर आपने बिल्किस बानो के बारे में पूछा, मैंने कहा हाँ हमने किया है डिबेट और हम करेंगे भी, लेकिन आपकी पार्टी लेगी एक्शन? जफर खान के खिलाफ क्या आपके पार्टी एक्शन लेगी कि नहीं लेगी? हाँ या ना? बस
हमारी पार्टी तो एक्शन लेने बताया वैसी सामने कि हम वैसी एक्शन लेंगे, लेकिन सवाल है कि
तो किस चीज के लिए इंतजार है साहब? किस चीज के लिए आप इंतजार कर रहे हैं?
आप इस पे
नहीं, किस चीज के लिए आप इंतजार कर रहे हैं एक्शन लेने के लिए?
आप इस पे डिबेट कर
नहीं, किस चीज की इंतजार है? उसके बाद आप लेंगे एक्शन जफर खान के खिलाफ? किस चीज की इंतजार कर रहे हैं आप?
अरे आप ऐसी बात करते हो। यहाँ जो है नरेश अग्रवाल ने कहा था, बीजेपी के जो सांसद थे, रामचंद्र जी को शराब से जोड़ा था। क्या बीजेपी ने नरेश अग्रवाल के खिलाफ एक्शन लिया?
सर आप इधर उधर की बात मत कीजिए, पुरानी चीजें उछल के नहीं लेके आइए। मैं सिर्फ आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ, पिछले 24 घंटे में आपके कॉर्पोरेटर ऑन कैमरा लोगों को भड़का रहा है और आपने कुछ नहीं किया अभी तक। एनीवे, let me go back to Arun Anand also, who's joining us. No, I'm very serious. I think it's extremely worrisome that people who are raising these slogans, Arun Anand, no action is taken against them till there's something precipitative happens. We saw what happened to Kanhaiya Lal. He had nothing to do with Nupur Sharma. He put up a Facebook post. The man is beheaded. Umesh Kole had nothing to do with Nupur Sharma, and yet in a WhatsApp group with friends he has known for 30 years, he said something and he got beheaded for that. Are we waiting for the next beheading to happen in Hyderabad before people take action against the fellows who are saying Sartan se juda?
I think you have raised a very valid point, and we'll have to go back a little bit and trace, the history of this typical orthodoxy which we are witnessing, and this Sartan se juda syndrome. Actually, if you look at the origin of this kind of reaction, it emerged in 11th century when there was a ulema and state nexus, which happened in some of the what you call the Middle Eastern countries at that time, and then gradually it spread. And right now, in more than 30 Islamic countries, you see this kind of a nexus between the ulema and the state, and because of which you have this kind of legitimizing the violence in name of the anti-blasphemy laws. So one is that. Second is, there is a very strange phenomena which has been happening in India. It's a larger crisis of a credible Muslim leadership which is not there, a progressive Muslim leadership which is not there. I was just listening to Mr. Manan when you were asking him the questions, and it's a very common pattern that when you ask certain pertinent questions, instead of answering these questions, the so-called Muslim leadership starts asking counter questions. And,
what about this? What about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So this shows basically, it cannot be a one-way street, and you have to follow the land of the law of the land. In the law of the land, if Supreme Court gives decision in their favor, then Supreme Court is fine for them. If Supreme Court gives a decision which is not in their favor, then they're upset about Supreme Court also. Then it's a Hindu majoritarian Supreme Court for them probably. So I think, it's a larger crisis. All of us have to sit together, because Hindus cannot provide a progressive leadership to the Muslim society. The Muslims have to have a progressive leadership, and the current leadership is I would call, a grave curse to the present Muslim society.
No, yesterday we had Mr. Owaisi on the channel, and he said he condemns the Sartan se Juda. But I asked him also कि one of your corporators is caught on camera. He said action will be taken. Action has been taken against Raja Singh, and you can debate. You can very well argue the action is not commensurate, action is not enough, he got away too lightly. All of that is arguments. It's point taken. No doubt about it. But in the case of Zafar Khan, no action has been taken at all. I mean, Shahid Ali, that one other larger point, and I've been raising this for the last 2 days. Last week we had a young 24-year-old man who was born and brought up in the United States, parents from Lebanon, took a knife and stabbed Salman Rushdie. This fellow was not even born when Salman Rushdie wrote satanic verses. I'm sure he's not even read the damn book. But for some reason, he finds it his bounden duty to take a knife and stab Salman Rushdie. For a man who has lived in incarceration for 30 years, fearing fatwas issued by the Iranians. You tell me, what sort of blinded ideology is this?
I absolutely agree with you, Zaka, but the solution has to be, unfortunately, the Hindu society cannot find a solution to it. The Muslims have to find a solution to it, and if they don't, what really worries me, as you have rightly pointed out, is it's a similar pattern which happened in the pre-partition days when Swami Shraddhanand was, killed, when a number of other people were also killed in the name of anti-blasphemy. So we seem to be following the same pattern, and unfortunately, large number of opposition parties, they are also not, talking about it. They are also. So it's a thing in which we have to rise above, the parochial political, petty political.
Shahid Ali, respond to that. Whether it is Samuel Paty, a class 4 teacher in France, or whether it is the Charlie Hebdo journalist, or whether it is the Danish cartoonist, ये anti-blasphemy का मतलब in a constitutional democracy, what is the question of anti-blasphemy? Yes, you have hate speech, you have laws against hate speech. There are enough provisions of IPC and CRPC for that. But this concept of blasphemy कर दिया, therefore उसका एक ही सजा है सरतन से जुदा. That's not that doesn't happen in a constitutional democracy. I'm sorry. Shahid Ali.
I would like to quote Quran. Surah Al-An'am, chapter number 6, ayat number 108, which says, "And insult not those whom they worship besides Allah, lest they insult Allah wrongfully without knowledge." So the commandment of Quran is very, very clear, not to insult others' gods or their goddesses. So whosoever is insulting, please talk to on that point as well. Why Raja Singh? Why other persons? Why Mr. Farooqi? Why Mr. Akbaruddin Owaisi? And all these persons are accusing or abusing or insulting gods of others. Let these persons should not be sent behind bars. No action should be taken against them. Action, fitted action. Action, that kind of action, deterrent action. So that the message should go to public at large that we will not have to repeat these kind of things ever. Now, if the action will be taken, then certainly there will be no need of any such kind of laws which you are referring to, blasphemy laws and other kind of laws. Our laws are sufficient enough to take care of these kind of things. So please, please spirit these words that whosoever is insulting gods of others should be dealt with specifically
the
and
law
strictly
should be
in terms of
equally
IPC.
applied to a Raja Singh as it should be applied to an Akbaruddin Owaisi or to a
No,
Zafar Khan.
no, law has
second.
not been applied upon Raja Singh.
One second. I'm
law
getting
has
another
not been
piece of
applied
breaking news.
against
Shahid Ali,
Raja
give me a
Singh.
moment. Give me a moment. I'm getting another piece of breaking news. Another video has come to light. This is of another MIM corporator raising the same Sar Tan Se Juda slogan. Nazreen Sultana is a corporator of the MIM from Mughulpura. In fact, all day today there were protests in Mughulpura. You can see her there. She's the lady in the hijab. Listen to what she's saying. She's leading a rally where openly beheading slogans were raised. This video is from last night. No action either by her party or by the Telangana police. Listen into the video. अब्दुल मनान साहब, ये आपके कॉर्पोरेटर हैं, इनका नाम है नजरीन सुल्ताना। ये कॉर्पोरेटर है मुगलपुरा से, हैदराबाद ओल्ड सिटी से। ये वीडियो कल रात की है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं, क्या आपकी पार्टी एक्शन लेगी इनके खिलाफ? क्या आप डिसमिस कर देंगे कि ये आपके पार्टी के सदस्य नहीं है? ये इलेक्टेड कॉर्पोरेटर है MIM पार्टी के। कुछ लेंगे एक्शन आप, या इसको भी एग्जामिन ही करेंगे आप?
पहली बात यह है कि इसमें जो आवाज आ रही है वो कारपोरेटर सिर्फ जब नारे तकबीर बोला जा रहा तो अल्लाह अकबर कहना।
पहला जो बोला गया आपने कन्वीनियंटली सुना नहीं।
उसने
जो वो लेडी बोल रही है सर तन से जुदा, बाकी लोग भी बोल रहे हैं, वो आपने सुना नहीं, वो आपके कान में लगे नहीं।
वो नारा सिर्फ ये कह रही है, नारे तकबीर अल्लाह अकबर सिर्फ बोल रही है।
सर उसके मैं दोबारा चलाऊं वीडियो को, सुनेंगे आप? नहीं, मैं दोबारा चला सकता हूं आपको सुनने के लिए, साफ साफ सुनने के लिए मैं दोबारा चला सकता हूं। चलाइए, 10 सेकंड का ऑडियो है, चलाइए। एंड कीप मिस्टर मनन ऑन फ्रेम, कीप मिस्टर मनन ऑन फ्रेम। अब सुनाई दिया? अब सुनाई दिया मनन साहब?
मुझे तो सिर्फ अल्लाह अकबर सुनाई दे रहा है।
सर आप तो अमेजिंग हैं, आपके कान भी अमेजिंग हैं। आपको सिर्फ वही सुनते हैं जो आप सुनना चाहते हैं। क्या है मतलब? मैं ऑन नेशनल टेलीविजन आपको 2 बार ये ऑडियो क्लिप चला चुका हूं, अपने ऑडियंस भी देख रहे हैं, उनको साफ साफ पता चल गया कि ये लोग भी बोल रहे हैं कि सर तन से जुदा। इसमें क्लियरली वो जो लेडी है वो हिजाब में है, वो आपके पार्टी के कॉर्पोरेटर है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं साफ साफ, क्या कुछ एक्शन लेंगे आप? क्या ओवैसी साहब एक्शन लेंगे नजरीन सुल्ताना के खिलाफ?
अरे हम वो थोड़े हैं, बीजेपी के लोग थोड़े हैं कि स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य जो
तो लीजिए ना एक्शन,
जी का अपमान करे वो एक्शन ना ले।
तो लीजिए ना एक्शन,
जो एक्शन लेंगे।
कौन रोक रहा है
एक्शन लेंगे अगर तो ओवैसी साहब ने तो आपके चैनल पे खुद कहा कि हम एक्शन लेंगे।
तो ये दूसरा, मैं दूसरा क्लिप दिखा रहा हूं ना आपको, ये दूसरा कॉर्पोरेटर है नजरीन सुल्ताना।
और आप
जफर खान जो पहला कॉर्पोरेटर था उसके खिलाफ तो अभी तक कुछ एक्शन नहीं लिया आपने। तो मैं दोबारा दोहरा रहा हूं, क्या नजरीन सुल्ताना के खिलाफ कुछ लेंगे एक्शन?
जल्दी में पड़े हुए?
नहीं, ये नजरीन सुल्ताना के खिलाफ कुछ लेंगे एक्शन, या इसको भी ऐसे छोड़ देंगे?
अरे भाई, अगर कसूरवार होगा तो बिल्कुल लेंगे। ओवैसी साहब ने खुद कहा कि अगर कसूरवार होंगे तो हम एक्शन लेंगे।
तो 2 कॉर्पोरेटर आपके हैं जो आके बोल रहे कि सर तन से जुदा, लोगों को भड़का रहे हैं, लेकिन अभी तक 24 घंटे हो गए, कुछ एक्शन नहीं लिया गया अभी तक।
ये बताइए कि आप कैसी पत्रकारिता करते हैं? क्या
अरे
आपने
सर,
कहा
आप
कि
रहने
मुल्ले काटे
दीजिए।
जाएंगे,
आप
राम
कौन
नाम
होते हैं मुझे
चिल्लाएंगे? राम नाम
पत्रकारिता
चिल्लाएंगे?
के बारे में बोलने के लिए?
मुल्ले काटे
मैं
जाएंगे,
मैं
राम नाम
आपको
चिल्लाएंगे,
दो
इससे
उदाहरण
राम
दिया
नाम
हूं, आपके
चिल्लाएंगे,
खुद के
मुल्ले
पार्टी के,
मुल्ले
आपके
काटे
खुद के
जाएंगे,
पार्टी
मुल्ले
के,
काटे जाएंगे।
और आपने ना एक्शन लिया उनके खिलाफ, और आप सिर्फ वही सुनना चाहते हैं जो आप सुनना चाहते हैं।
आप मुल्ले
क्या
काटे
मजाक बना
जाएंगे,
के रखा
पक्के
आपने
डिबेट
और आपके
चलाओगे?
पार्टी ने? अगर
राम
आप
नाम
आप
चिल्लाएंगे,
में
मुल्ले
दम
काटे
नहीं है
जाएंगे,
एक्शन
आपने
लेने के
कभी
लिए,
इससे डिबेट
तो
कराया?
बोल दीजिए तेलंगाना पुलिस को। आई एम
आप
आस्किंग
लोग-
बच्चू श्रीनिवास
आप
ऑल्सो।
लोग इस देश
बच्चू
को
श्रीनिवास,
बर्बाद कर
प्लीज
दोगे।
पुट हिम ऑन
राजा सिंह
कैमरा,
के
प्लीज
समर्थन
पुट
में
बच्चू
खड़े
श्रीनिवास
होके,
ऑन
नुपुर
कैमरा।
शर्मा के समर्थन
I
में
have
खड़े
played the
होके,
video, sir. It's
और
there for you
कपिल
to see.
शर्मा के समर्थन
It is
में
for
खड़े
you,
होके
the
इस देश
Telangana
को
police,
बर्बाद
Hyderabad
कर रहे
police,
हो।
to act against this
और
lady. Her
आप
name is Nazreen
बीजेपी
Sultana.
जानते
Please
हो-
tell me, will action be taken? Clearly, MIM party does not want to take action. Please tell me.
बीजेपी के लोग हैदराबाद
बच्चू
को
श्रीनिवास,
बर्बाद
बच्चू
करना
श्रीनिवास,
चाहते
प्लीज,
हैं।
थैंक यू।
और आप लोग उसमें जो
नहीं
है
नहीं, बच्चू
उसको
श्रीनिवास से
please-
बात कर रहा हूँ। मनन साहब, आपका टाइम हो गया। मैंने आपको जवाब मांगा, लेकिन आप जवाब नहीं दे रहे हैं। बट बच्चू
I
श्रीनिवास,
request Manan to keep silence. I request Manan.
बच्चू श्रीनिवास।
First, I heard, as you said, I heard from Mogulpura corporator Nazir Sultana, whatever Sartan se jude. As he heard Manan, the same. Out of that, they are shouting with Sartan se juda. No doubt about that. One thing I would like to tell you. I request from CNN to the Honorable OIC, the Parliament member and President of AIMIM, to take care of their corporators. This is the first I request him. And next, if it continues, Telangana police will not keep quiet. If really they want to make any kind of violence in Hyderabad city to disturb the peace and harmony, and the Telangana police, Telangana government will not excuse anybody. It is a promise of Telangana government to CNN news channel. This much I can say, Mr. Jacob. This much I can say to the Telangana people, and apart from Telangana people, to the entire nation of the people who are looking towards Hyderabad today. Telangana government is there to take care of the peace and harmony of Hyderabad. We never allow, we never excuse anybody else.
We will put this issue to test. We will put this issue to test. I'm completely out of time. I want to thank Bachchu Srinivas and all the other panelists. The ball is clearly in the court of both Mr. Owaisi. He has come out and said, yes, he's condemning those slogans. But today we have shown two corporators belonging to the MIM raising these slogans openly and publicly. Will Mr. Owaisi act against his corporators? Number one. Number two, and I take the word of Mr. Bachchu Srinivas, the onus is also on the Hyderabad police. It's on the Telangana government to be seen as taking action against these people. Not just paying lip service, not just examining video footage, but be seen as taking action against anyone who is making an open call for beheading. Quick break. I'll see you on the other side.